What's up, everybody? It's your boy Pete. You already know, regular on Birds of a Feather, but to my left on screen, probably my right as you see it, my boy Jake Friel, part of the A2D family, host on Fan Up Fridays. Tonight's Birds of a Feather is brought to you. We're happy to be here. Trust me, don't get that wrong. But as you'll see on the ticker, tonight's show comes with a heavy heart. This show is dedicated to in the honor of Carol Beth Chromiak, Chrome's mother, who we sadly lost a couple days ago. Her fight is now over, but we are here to carry on, and our hearts and our prayers are with Chrome and his family during this time. Today is actually her birthday, so if you get a second, say your prayers tonight. Just pray for the Chromiak family, and just know that it is precious time that we have here on this earth, and can't be selfish. She's no longer suffering anymore, man. So. Yeah, that's pretty as well as I can say that. So, Jake, if you could do us a favor, roll that intro and we'll get started.
Let's get into it.
Let's go! This ain't the fuck like this thing he stinks!
Oh shit!
It's gone!
We're back. Thank you for rocking with us. I know you guys can be out there last minute shopping, and if you do listen to the audio only of this podcast on any digital streaming media platforms, we thank you for rocking with us. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, become a member, do all the other good jazz, and also play Fan Up. Fan Up is the best way to enjoy fantasy sports, daily NFL contests, and more. Win great prizes. Sign up today. Use promo code A2D for 5,000 bonus points. That's a $50 value. The Fan Up app, you can find it on Apple Store, Google Play Store. Yeah, man. So let's get into it. The poll question today for today's show: the Eagles through Week 15 have already exceeded our expectations this season. Agree or disagree? Jake, what say ye, sir?
Well, at the beginning of the year, I wasn't expecting a lot, obviously, because Carson Wentz got traded. It's a whole new team, new head coach. You're expecting hiccups, obviously, like we saw at the beginning of the year. And ever since the bye week, it's kind of just things have turned around a little bit, I think. I mean, we had a couple hiccups with Jalen Hurts. We had the COVID situation going on. Jalen Hurts wasn't healthy. But just looking at this team now as currently constructed and compared to where my expectations were at the beginning of the year, yeah, I'll say they're exceeded for sure, because I had us, I think, as a 4 or 6 win football team. So they're definitely exceeding my expectations right now. And the fact that we're playing meaningful football in December and going into January, it's a good feeling. It's a real good feeling. And Jalen Hurts seems like he's coming into his own. Got the Giants coming up on Sunday, a little bit on short rest. But to the poll, yeah, I agree. They're definitely exceeding my expectations.
And fam out there, let us know in the chat how you feel to the poll question. Once again, I'll restate. I know it's on the screen, but for those listening to the audio only at some point, which we hope you do, the Eagles have already exceeded our expectations this season. Agree to disagree? For me, I am going to also say agree. I think I have been fairly adamant in stating that I really didn't have any expectations this season. Didn't know what we had, because we've seen this team have decent drafts and be in the offseason and even go through training camp and be a team that looks like they're really going to be something that they have a chance. They have a chance to be a legit contender. But I think we all kind of knew that Dallas was the cream of the crop in this division based on where they were at last year, the draft that they had, who they were bringing back, and if Dak could regain his form for what he had before he broke his ankle. So with that being said, getting into this year, kind of like you, the first 7-8 games of the year, didn't really know what we had, didn't have faith in Sirianni, had a guy who felt like he didn't have any type of feel for the game, just doing things bass backwards, and Jalen Hurts just wasn't it. Ever since the bye week, I'll probably say even right around November, for the last 5 or 6, 7 weeks, even a Chargers game that they lost, it's becoming easier to watch. Now, I will say this: it hasn't looked like what we thought it would look like, and it's not prototypical of what we see in the NFL because they're not really passing the ball that well. It's not what their nature is. That's not their bread and butter. But hey, I mean, we've seen it. They could be onto a trend. It started with the Patriots playing against the Bills. Mac Jones only throwing 3 passes, and the Eagles have just been running the rock. But you've seen that trend start to catch on. Carson Wentz Saturday night against the Patriots. He only had 5 passes. Monday night in Minnesota, Kirk Cousins only had 87 yards. So it's a formula that if your team can run the ball, and I think what this is you start to see the prototypical linebacker is what it was when we had Jeremiah Axman Trotter. You know what I mean? We don't have that 230, 245, 250 pound linebacker, but that's now at the end. But if you really look at it, the size of O-linemen hasn't changed. O-linemen are still big motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? Big motherfuckers who push the little motherfuckers. That's what they do. You look at ours. Our left tackle, Jordan Mailata, is 6'8", 350. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? So now you got him blocking a dude that's 250. And then now the second level is a guy that's 220, 220, maybe 230. But usually 215 to 225. That's the size of a running back now.
Right.
So teams are, and with the run fits, are starting to find a way to take advantage of that because I think the run game kind of went away because for whatever reason, coaches and offensive coordinators started to think like, okay, well, we got to pass the ball. And now it took somebody like, no, we don't have to do that shit. We don't have to do that. Let's figure this out. What's best work for our team. So for me, I regardless of the last 3 games of the season, it's an agree for me because once again, I didn't have any expectations coming into the season. Didn't know how good we would be. Shit, halfway through the first half of the season, we had 3 top 10 picks, and people was already starting to look at the draft. Now it's drastically changed to where now you're thinking about the 7 seed, depending on the game that we have about to kick off in less than 10 minutes, the Tennessee Titans versus San Francisco 49ers, we may be able to track down the 6 seed. You see what I'm saying? So things have changed. The outlook has changed. And one thing I will say is defense and running the game and the running game travels well. Mm-hmm. You can play it on any field. It can travel well. And what do we always say? At this time of year, when it gets cold outside, and you can see behind me the tree is on because we got Christmas in less than 48 hours, you run the damn ball. You know what I mean? So when you can run the ball and your quarterback doesn't make mistakes, and for whatever reason now that his ankle's not 100%, he's playing better because Tuesday night was a gym. Mm-hmm. Tuesday night was a gym. That's what you have. You have a recipe for somewhat success, and you can really you can kind of hide your weaknesses on defense. Our safety play is still shit. We still don't have the safety that can catch the ball. Nobody wants to talk about it. Rodney McLeod should have had that pick. I don't know what drive it was, where it was at in the game. I think it was in the first half, and the ball just might as well have been covered in olive oil. It just slipped right through his hands. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I don't know if you have anything you want to add on to that. This is the first quarter, guys. We are in the first quarter sponsor. Looking to buy, sell a home, looking to change a career or brokerage. Contact Alafoy of eXp Realty LLC at 302-682-8820 or visit them at alan.foy at exprealty.com. It's been a while since I drove a show, Jake. You know this.
I know.
But I just feel like it's riding a bike. But if anything you had that you want to add on to that, anything else that you want to take us into possibly the second quarter to where we can recap the Tuesday night tussle, as I like to call it, that should have been played 48 hours earlier. Mm-hmm. But anything, if you want to expound on the poll question, any thoughts you have?
Yeah, just really I'll combine the two, get into our second quarter. So as far as like exceeding expectations, this line has been phenomenal. It doesn't matter who's out. Doesn't matter who's hurt, whether it's Landon Dickerson, Brandon Brooks, Lane Johnson, Jordan Mailata has been a little banged up there as well. It doesn't matter. They're still dominating, getting in your face, and we're running the ball at a rate that this league hasn't seen since like the Bears of the 70s. Mm-hmm. You haven't seen like the Denver Broncos when they had
TD.
Yeah, when they had TD, when LaDainian Tomlinson was around. All these great running backs have not put up the numbers every game that we're putting up as a football team right now as far as rushing the ball. It's astounding. It's absolutely astounding. And when you talk about a foundation for years, aside from Jason Kelsey, our line's young. Our line's very young. And the quarterback is very young. And our receiving core is very young. So it's just it feels so good, Pete, to be honest with you. It feels so good because you know when the weather gets colder, it's tougher to throw the football. And nobody wants to tackle a running back in the cold weather because hits are harder. You feel them a lot more. So as crazy as it is, yeah, I think this team can really make a push, to be honest with you. As long as they keep doing what they're doing, we can run on anybody in the NFL. And it's been shown. It's been shown. I wish we did it earlier at the beginning of the year because our record would have been totally different. And we'd be, I don't know where we'd be, but we'd at least be still competing for the division right now. I mean, we still are, but I don't think it's likely that we could win the division, but we'll see. But it's just such a good situation, and they continued to do it again on Tuesday night, just dominate the line of scrimmage. Jalen Hurts played very, very well. Mm-hmm. So I just feel really good about this football team right now, and especially from Jalen Hurts' performance on Tuesday. Yeah,
and just to echo off of that, I mean, we had the Achilles heel fumble off of Goedert, and we had the strip sack. The one thing I will say is this reminds me of, and it's different because they're running the football because of choice, because they don't have a Justin Herbert at the quarterback position. But with that being said,
I think I know where you're going.
You can't. When you said that they can run on anybody, I remember I don't remember a team in the last 10 years where they ran it this much and had the outside weapons that they have. Because this is the thing. You can easily put 8, 9, 10 in the box, right? And try to claw that run, okay? But when you have an elite to above average tight end like Dallas Goedert, right? You have a burner on the outside like Watkins and Rager, you can get in the ball early, right? And you got an offensive line that can pull and get to that second level. We've seen when Jalen, this the maturation of the mind game and being able to see what he sees and diagnose it pre-snap. He was, thank you, Ritter, sending all our love to Chrome. Boys, have a great show. Thank you, Andy in Texas. But when he saw that, I think it was like a 3rd and 6, and we were kind of stifling. And now I think that was they had just scored. It was 2017 in the second half, and he audible to that play. So look at how fast Lane Johnson got out to the second level. So when you put 8, 9, 10 in the box, you're going to have him closer to the line of scrimmage, but you're more susceptible to the screen. But what I say that to say this is you can do that, right? Jalen Hurts doesn't turn the ball over that much. He did it against the Giants in week whatever that was, 3 weeks ago, week 12 or some shit like that. But when you got a Devontae Smith on the outside, when you got a Dallas Goedert, when you got a Rager, when you got a Watkins, you got an offensive line that can get to that next level, and they're not afraid to let pressure get through and get to that spot they need to be and execute. That's tough to really stop the run. You know what I mean? Now, the one thing I will say, as we look at Tuesday's night game, is I don't know why we're not feeding Smith more. That's the one thing in the passing game. Don't get me wrong. Goddard, I think he had 6 or 7 catches for 120, 130 yards. Should have had a touchdown. Should have had 2 other more catches.
Should have had 200 yards.
Backed off his heel, and then the other one that he just dropped when he had a wide receiver, a tight end screen in front of him.
Yep.
That's all well and good. You know, Rager with his look, but I feel at some point the comeback play, that broken down play that Smith caught on the sideline where for whatever reason the back judge behind it caught him out. I don't know why he's looking at the ball the whole time.
He's looking at the ball. Yep, exactly.
He wants to see if it's a completed catch. But when you have a wide receiver with that type of talent, right, you want to make sure you get that guy more touches in rhythm. And for him, and I want to see him and Hurts really, they clicked in Denver. That's really been the only game where I think he has 4 touchdowns, and he had 1 this week 1 against Atlanta. He had 2 against Denver, and I forget the 4th one that he had.
It was like against the Chargers. That's what it was. It was against the Chargers.
It's like 750, 800 yards, but he could have so much more. And this isn't to say, I don't think if you do that, anybody else in the wide receiver court is going to feel bad. But it's just, I feel like sometimes we forget that he's out there, and I don't know what that is. And listen, if they want to sit there and tell you, well, he just going through his reads and he hits the over. Listen, if Sirianni says getting the ball, he's going to try to get him the ball.
Mm-hmm.
You feel what I'm saying? That's what I want to see, because that's what I saw from Tuesday night. Another thing from Tuesday night was, and this is kind of, I see somebody brought up Tyler Huntley. I think it was Samuel Rose. He says, look at Tyler Huntley RPA works on the YouTube. And thank you guys for rocking with us. Hit that like, hit that, wherever you're at. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, become a member if you're already not. Feed the beast, feed the algorithm. You know, that's how it goes. Helps us do what we do. But that game was a prime example. Green Bay should have won that game by 2 touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
When you get into these soft defenses, we talked about it. One of the reasons why the running game went away was because offensive coordinators and offensive-minded coaches fell in love with the pass for whatever reason, and they lost the train of thought to say, hey, little people beat up big people, beat up little people. The same shit that Chip Kelly said.
Yep.
On defense, for whatever reason, they just play too soft.
Mm-hmm.
They play too soft, and then you saw it. Why they went for if you look at the game, the potential game time touchdown that Baltimore scored within the last minute of the game, everybody cleared out and they forgot about the quarterback. And then that's you want to get inside the 25, and then you want I'm not even trying to let it get there. And kind of that echoed on Tuesday night. Garrett Gilbert was he had all the time in the world. I understand the defensive line. It's very rare that you can get pressure with your front four consistently throughout. Used to be 16 games. Now 17 games is through a season. Mm-hmm. Very rare that can happen, right? So why not help him out a little bit? Why not help him out? I don't understand on defense when you don't have the type of team that you can just sit there and they can just guard everybody for 5 or 6 seconds. That's not going to happen because the wide receivers know where they're going.
Yep.
The DBs don't. You know, the defense is reactionary. The offense knows what it's doing. So we have to react quicker. So with that being said, you have to force the offense and the person that has a ball in his hands, the quarterback, to make a decision prematurely. So that way that helps you. And I don't think we did that enough because, listen, Sunday you got the Giants coming up. You got Mike Glennon, the dude with the longest neck in the world. I've never seen a dude that has a neck as long as him, for one.
Yep.
And I don't want to see the same thing. I don't want to see the same thing. I don't understand why they do that, Jay. It's like, I don't know. It's like when you go to play Street Fighter 2 and you just put your quarter in the machine and you just pick Kenaru or Ryu, however you. Yep. Listen, I don't know how to say it. I always said Ryu. I mean, I could be fucking wrong. You know what I mean? But that's what and just going with the game. You know what I mean? Yep. It's kind of that same thought process is to let's just stand back. Let this dude dick and dunk his way down the field. Then we get inside the red zone. Let's turn it up a little bit. Why?
Right.
And you get a turnover in the red zone, and you get a turnover at midfield, and your offense gets back on the field. Wouldn't you want your offense to have a shorter distance to go to potentially put points on the board? That's just my thought process from looking at Tuesday's night game. But, I mean, it was touch and go there for a minute, Jake.
It really was, especially in the first quarter there. Yeah, it was – big time touch and go. I mean, again, the interception, I'm not going to put on Hurts. It's just one of those freak interceptions that happens every now and again. And of course it happens to us.
Right.
As expected. But yeah, getting to Gannon's defense, it's just been a trend, right? When he goes against lesser opponents and lesser skilled quarterbacks, he'll send the house all day. But when he goes against like elite caliber quarterbacks, he always brings the defense back. He always has the linebackers in coverage who usually can't cover. Right. Who has our secondary back in coverage, linebackers back in coverage. And then it's just the front four, like you said earlier, just rushing. And you're not going to hit home every time.
Right.
And it's just, I don't know. I still think we have an issue at defensive coordinator. That's my opinion. And I just don't see it getting better. Maybe it does. Maybe we're just like a player away or something like that on defense that Jonathan Gannon's just hoping for. And he's just being patient. I don't know. I'm just assuming. I'm hoping. I'm being hopeful. Just because Nick Sirianni's turned into, from what I'm seeing, a very good coach.
Okay.
But I don't know. I wasn't a fan of the Jonathan Gannon hire, and seeing it what it was at the beginning of the year and what it's at now. Obviously, it's a lot better than what it was at the beginning of the year. But I just he just doesn't do it for me. He doesn't do it for me.
Right. I think that's because, and the truth of the matter is, unless we get to the playoffs, Jake, you're not going to see anything. He's not going to have the opportunity to do anything different to potentially change your opinion because he's just not going to see the offenses like that. Listen, the strongest part of Dallas's team right now is the defense. The offense is just not clicking. So even with all those weapons they had, and then real quick, I want to say, how the hell Tyron Smith made the damn Pro Bowl and played in like 6 games is beyond me.
Oh my God. And the fact that Lane Johnson didn't
is beyond me. You see what I'm saying? I just want to throw that out there. But for whatever reason, Dallas on offense, with all the talent that they have, they just haven't been clicking. They struggled with the Giants last week. Obviously, the Giants stepped over their own feet. But I just don't know. I just don't know. And I think with Gannon, and I said this kind of coming into the year, is I just don't think he has the personnel to really do what he wants to do.
Right.
And call the defense how he wants to call it. But my thing is this. I get that against better quarterbacks, against better offenses. But against teams like Garrett Gilbert led WFT and Mike Glennon led Giants, I need to see you force the issue. Especially like it was in the first half where we were just snake bit no matter what we did, no matter how far we moved the ball. We had 2 turnovers. We were down 10-9. Very rarely in those games like that do you not only come back and you catch up and you win, but you still win by 10. Outside of those 2 plays, and it is football, you got to take it play by play. When plays like that don't go your way, there were probably one more play away from that really getting out of control and really being Joe Webb part 2, Phil Collins. I could feel it in the air tonight. All over happening again. You see what I'm saying? So I don't want that to happen. I don't even want to give that a chance of happening. What's up, Don, our Detroit homie? Lions got win number 2.
What's up, Don?
Parlay up. I was not happy, but kudos to y'all. Kudos to y'all. Messing my money up, man. Messing my pockets up. But it's just, once again, like it's one of those games. It's a roller coaster. And you just, like we sit here and talk about, it was a good win. It was a divisional win, Jalen's first divisional win, to where, you take good things away from it, but now where we're at sitting here before week 16, we're thinking to ourselves, like, we really got a legit shot to make the playoffs, and we just don't want to make the playoffs. Right. We have a team that possibly can sneak out a win and get to the divisional round of the playoffs. You can't see shit like that. We can't give teams opportunities like that because, and this is the other thing, right? We don't have a defense or the defensive personnel to sit there and take the ball back from the other team and just force a secondary. Because when you put the team and you put your personnel into like, let's just stand back and let's watch what happens. I almost want to say stand back. It's a hurricane coming through. If you know, you know. But you don't really create opportunities for yourself like that when you don't force the issue. So with John and Gannon's philosophy, that's kind of where you just want to see it become a little bit more aggressive. But like I said, with the games left on the schedule now, he's not even going to have an opportunity to do something like that at all. Like, I mean, I don't see the Giants offense just figuring it out. I don't see Mike Glennon coming in and because this isn't like his first game or second game. I think this will be his third game. You know what I mean? And it's just like, I mean, if you really look at Dallas' defense and our defense outside of Micah Parsons, I mean, that's really it. But Micah Parsons is this bitch can win rookie and defensive player of the year. Like,
he really
just newsflash, guys. Micah Parsons is fucking good. Okay,
he's very good. Very
so.
Good.
But outside of that, I mean, the defense I think is a wash. You know what I mean? So we can kind of force the same thing, and I think our offense is running at a little bit of a better pace, clicking a little bit more. Interested to see now. We Sirianni has COVID. We saw after the strip sack on Tuesday night, he was all in the face of Jalen Hurts, and if it gets in that quarterback room, that Omicron, who sounds like a fucking Decepticon, I swear, it's like Megatron's right-hand man.
Megatron's next.
So that could be a problem. That could pose a problem. So We'll see. We'll see. But getting into that was our second quarter. We already told you that was brought to you by. Get into our third because we're gonna rock for you guys for about an hour. We want everybody last minute shopping they got doing Amazon, get back to their families. So we got about another 35, 40 minutes. But real quick, our third quarter is brought to you by check out our Dr. Paul Vidal at Specialized Physical Therapy, LLC. Also, sometimes an occasional guest on the Agree to Disagree on Sundays, the flagship show. And he has 2 locations in Burlington and Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Make them yours because he's our doc. And you can get him over at specializedphysicaltherapy.com. So, I mean, listen, I bowl every weekend. And ever since that fucking flag football game that I didn't even play in, I just refereed. But I got to have KT tape on my shit every Sunday. I brought like 5 rolls of KT tape. And I feel like I was about to do my whole body. But it's just my knee, man. That's what happens. You just have nothing. I have no cartilage left in my left knee whatsoever. It's gone. It's gone. Like It's bad. It's bad. But yeah, so looking ahead to this Sunday, December the 26th, day after Christmas, 1:00 at the Link, Eagles and the Giants. Jake, how do you see this game playing out? Who do you have as your standout from the game? And I mean, you could give a score if you want. I'm not big on that.
No,
I think the line is 10. You can just say if you think the Eagles will or will not cover.
Yeah, let me go on my sports book real quick just to double check. But I mean, it's the same as it's the same as the last matchup that we had against the Giants, Pete. We should win. We should dominate. We should, keyword, should dominate them. But I don't know. I mean, Sterling Shepard's out. They have a bunch of guys out on offense. Saquon, I don't know what happened to Saquon. It's a shame, honestly. It's a shame because he's I don't know if he lost a step or it's just the Giants' offense, but he's just not. I'm just not seeing it. But we should win this game. We should. Yeah. I hope we do. I hope Jalen Hurts. I can guarantee you, Jalen Hurts has this game circled on his calendar as a redemption game. So I hope he can continue to build off, like I said earlier, the performance that he had on Tuesday. And I think they will, but we should absolutely dominate them. Whether it's Mike Glennon or Jake Fromm, their quarterback, we should dominate them, no problem. But I have us winning handily. But again, like I said that at the same time when we went up to MetLife against the Giants. So we'll see.
All right. Do you think they cover the 10?
It's a lot of points.
It is.
A lot of points.
I mean, ultimately, the spread for Tuesday went up and went down. Then I think it finally settled at kickoff at 8.5, and the Eagles still covered.
Yeah, yep. But let's see. Let me go to my sports book real quick because I'm already here. It's a flat 10. Okay.
Flat 10. Over under, I think, is like 41.5 or something like that.
It's 40.5 right now.
Ooh.
I might take the under on that.
Really?
I might take the under. Because my whole thing is, Pete, division games are weird. Division games are just weird. You can never really predict a division game. Yeah, I just don't like the 10 points. That's just me.
Okay. So a win, but you take the points with fumble lie.
Who fumbled that?
They said down.
Debo. I don't know if Debo was down.
Yeah, Debo is good. Don. Debo is he's pretty good.
Debo is very good.
Pretty good. Well, I mean, when you put in with anytime you have a coach that gets a tool and knows what to do with it, and their vision for that tool, and it works.
Yep.
And how you envision that tool working and how that tool can help you, whatever your job is, and it performs that task very, very well at a minimal level that exceeds expectations, it's going to make you look pretty good. Yep. It's going to make you look pretty good. So, and that's exactly what happened with Debo. So for me, Sunday against the Giants, definitely think they have a circle on the calendar because we gave them that game at MetLife. We gave him that game. Jalen Hurts, that was his worst game. Think he's definitely going to have a lot to prove in this game, just based on his character and how he likes to flush his number twos. So definitely think it's going to be there. And like I said, I just want to see. I want to get Devontae more involved because I think wide receivers of that ilk, of that level, they need the ball to get that confidence. And far too many times we see Devontae just by the side, like by the way. And then when we do throw it to him, it's in double coverage, and I don't understand it. He had Gainwell wide open under the slant, underneath on the slant.
Yes, he did.
And with the way Miles is running the ball, hopefully Miles can get a fucking touchdown, please. At some point, in the way we're running the route, I think it's not like you said. Division games are weird. I don't ever say it's going to be an easy win, but it should be a win. I would be comfortable putting a fair sum of money on the game on the money line, probably even taking lesser odds just to get up some. What's up, Bryce? But I mean, there's really nothing on the Giants. I will say this. I will go on the record and say this right now. I'll say this right now. I could see in the future in a crystal ball, we move on from Sanders for whatever reason.
Okay.
And Giants cut Saquon, and then Saquon just comes down 95. Because the thing is, Saquon is he the same player coming out in Penn State? No. This is because he just has too many injuries. But he's never had an offensive line like we've had.
Wow.
And you know what I mean? Imagine, now listen, there's been times, it's one thing, Jordan Howard, Miles Sanders all had the same holes to hit, right?
Mm-hmm.
So obviously we see Jordan Howard hit the hole, get 5 or 10. We see Miles Sanders get the hole, maybe get 10 to 12 or 15. But there's plays to where Sanders is still, he's one tackle away, where he can, that next gear. And we see Saquon still somewhat had that gear, but the whole offense of the Giants is never in a rhythm. I mean, they're in a better rhythm when they run the ball with Devontae Booker. And I just think that's because it's a Saquon. I said it after the second year he got hurt, the year after he tore his ACL. I was like, listen, this dude's not going to see a second contract. His first contract was so heavy to where for him, I don't think the Giants can justify it to bring me back and re-sign him. So I would like to definitely take a look at him. But
wow,
I mean, for the game itself, man, it's not really much to talk about. I don't understand how these like we really don't have anything. It's not this week, may not even be next week. We all may be circling our calendars for that game week 18 against Dallas, depending on where Dallas is. If they have, because you only get the 1 seed, and the way things have shaken out, we'll get into our fourth quarter when we take a look around the league. The way things have shaken out with other teams ahead of them around the league, Dallas may have a shot to get that number 1 overall seed because you don't know what's going on in Tampa. Green Bay's schedule looks a little bit tougher. So who knows? And if that's the case, then week 18, if Dallas plays or they don't play their players, we'll see. That could be an Eagles godsend and go in. I still think they have a good chance to go 3-0 for the rest of the last 3 remaining games. It's not a lot, but if that, depending on Dallas, it could very, very easy turn into a lot. But I also know us as well. This, as we sit here and look at this game coming up Sunday, as a game that we should win, and that some of us, I wouldn't say looking past the Giants, but not scared. That could be very well a game that we lose, and then boom, all things go to shit. You know what I mean? So, and it could be just like it could be a repeat of what they had when they played a couple of weeks ago in New York, New Jersey, whatever you want to call it, MetLife. So it could be easily see that. I mean, I like the over. I if it's anything 42, 41 or lower, I always like the over because it's 3 touchdowns by one team, a couple field goals. And we just need to get to 41. I mean, even Tuesday night, I think the over under was very similar to the same. Yeah, I think it was very similar to the same. It was 40.5, and it was ended up being 40 points. You know what I mean? So, yeah, Sam Morrell says the Giants are ass. How we lose that game because your quarterback turned it over 2 times in the red zone.
Yep.
And we had a Boston Scott fumble, and Jalen Reagor can't catch, and so he couldn't catch that game. He couldn't. Maybe he may not be able to catch anything over 5 or 10 yards out. You know, so
yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? So that could very well be his fucking case. That very well could be his case. But I don't envision any trouble for the Eagles on Sunday if they play their game. If they play their game, I may go do something else. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, I may not even need to sit there and watch the game. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, so getting to quarter number four. a read here somewhere for our sponsors. There's a lot of them, guys. I'm sorry. Gleason's Bar, which is a good thing. It's a fucking good thing. So keep hitting that like and that subscribe, please. Gleason's Bar is located at 6700 Mill Creek Avenue, Levittown, PA. Use promo code A2D for 10% off your order whenever you dine in, take out, or online. www.gleasonsbarandsteaks.com. So fourth quarter, I want to take a look around the league and just I'll start with Sunday Night Football. Tom Brady shut out 9-0. More importantly than the loss during the season, lost in the column. You have Chris Godwin out, torn ACL on a hit that was just so fucking cheap. This is why I do not like the Saints, bro. I can't stand the bitches.
Yeah.
Mike Evans hamstring, Fournette hamstring. Fournette and Evans, I believe Evans is day to day. There's a slim chance he plays Sunday against Carolina. Fournette's on the IR.
Yep.
And then you have Godwin out for the season. So Antonio Brown's coming back. They still have Gronk. I know they got Tyler Johnson and they got Scotty Miller and OJ Howard, Cameron Brate, and then now they also signed Le'Veon Bell. I mean, obviously Ronald Jones is going to have to pick up more of the load. Defense is still there. Defense is still there. But just looking at that game, and like you talked about earlier, I alluded to where it is seeding and how this number one seed, how before you thought it was either going to be Tampa or Green Bay, and now you don't know what about Tampa. Tampa can lose another game. If they lose another game and they get to 12-5 over on a year instead of 13-4, you see what I'm saying? That can put them out of the running for the number one overall seed. Now, one thing I'll say about Tampa, though, Tampa is one of the teams I don't think that they need to have the number one seed to be able to win. You feel what I'm saying?
Yep.
I still think they'll be able to win. I still think they'll be able to win anywhere just because of who's the quarterback. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
But I think I got to look at Green Bay. I know Green Bay plays Cleveland this week. I don't know what the rest of their schedule is as I'm looking up.
Let me look real quick. Green Bay schedule.
So they got Cleveland, Vikings,
and the Lions.
Then we end with the Lions.
Sorry, Don.
So, I mean, if they're going to drop another game, I can see them probably dropping this Saturday. I think they play Saturday. Christmas.
Yep, 4:30.
4:30.
4:30.
So that puts them at 11-5.
I believe so. Let me see.
11-5. I mean, I think it's going to, and then if Dallas wins, they'll be 12-4.
Yep.
They'll be 12-4. A lot of people think Washington's going to get that game this Sunday. I don't see it.
I would love it.
I would too, but I don't see it.
No, I don't either.
And, I mean, it's in Dallas. I just don't see it unless Dallas just doesn't show up. But I mean, I think out of those three, who do you think has the most likelihood to end up with the number one seed?
Me personally, I really like what Green Bay's doing. I really like what they're doing. Their defense has been fantastic. Rasul Douglas has been a resurgence for them, which is always nice to see a former Eagle just dominating and being a Pro Bowl alternative. So that's always good to see.
And I'm sorry, Dallas is 10-4, so they could be 11-4. So that means if Green Bay loses Saturday, Dallas wins, and they're at 11-4.
Okay. Yeah, I have Green Bay. That at least with me, I don't see them stopping anytime soon. I mean, maybe they might pick up a game against the Browns on Christmas or even Minnesota. That's a game I could see them having a hiccup with. But I think they're just too good right now, to be honest. I think they're too good right now. That's just my opinion. But yeah, I just don't see anyone stopping Green Bay. I mean, Dallas, like you touched on earlier, their offense is shaky with their weapons that they have. I don't know how that's possible. Right. And their defense is just insane. But and then you talk about Tampa Bay, they just have injuries on offense left and right. At the beginning of the year is their defense, their cornerbacks all got hurt, and now their offense is taking a turn. So as far as like consistency, yeah, give me Green Bay. Give me Green Bay all day.
So the other two teams that we didn't talk about were Arizona and LA, the Rams. Now they're both sitting at 10-4.
Mm-hmm.
So they're both at 10-4, and the head-to-head is 1-1. So they split there.
Okay.
For speaking of Dallas equates in this because yes, Dallas has watched the football team this week, but next week they travel to Arizona and they play Arizona. So that's going to be a big game. Now, what I saw from the Rams, their schedule is Vikings, which I think they can win that game.
Yep.
Especially with no Dalvin Cook in Minnesota. Then they have, I want to say, I literally just had it. Ravens in Baltimore on the day after New Year's, January 2nd. And then they close out with the 49ers. So I think that's probably the toughest schedule remaining of the contenders in the NFC from what we just discussed. When you look at those top teams, Dallas, Tampa Bay, Green Bay, Arizona, and the Rams, I think the Rams have the toughest out or the toughest road because they got to jump a certain amount of teams, and then they need other things to happen. They really don't control their own destiny outside of the games that they just play.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I mean, it's weird seeing 13-4. Like I'm always used to seeing 13-3. It's just fucking weird. It's fucking weird. But at Green Bay, Sam Monroe says Green Bay is suspect. Listen, man, Matt LaFleur doesn't get enough credit, bro.
No, he doesn't.
I mean, you think he took over from Mike McCarthy? I don't think he hasn't lost less than 11 games in the seasons he's been the coach. Yep. And they're probably going to win more than 11 games this year. I mean, he's just. I don't know, and it's weird because outside of Devontae, and they've had issues on the offensive line all year. It was like us last year, and Aaron Rodgers has been able to put it together, or when they can win ugly. And like you said, Russell Douglas, they're doing the shit without Jair Alexander. He's coming back at some point.
He's coming back. Yep.
They got Eric Stokes. I mean, their defense is just. That's what's not talking about. It wasn't shown against Tyler Huntley on Sunday in Baltimore, but I don't know, man. Running quarterbacks, you just can't account for that shit. Like you can't.
No.
You can sit here and okay, we're gonna put a hat on the hat, and then you got this one dude you can't account for him, and that bitch is just running around making plays. You got Mark Andrews out there who's pissed that he dropped the 2-point conversion in Pittsburgh, so he had to bounce back. Yep. So it's just certain shit, but guess what? It still was a loss. I mean, it still was a loss for Baltimore. So real quick, look at the AFC. AFC we have, and that's even tougher. The AFC is even fucking more of a crapshoot. We got the Chiefs at 10-4, sitting at number 1 seed. Titans at 9-5, a game behind. Then you have the Patriots, and that's really it. So you got a 10-win team, 2 9-win teams. Everybody else is next is 8-6.
Yeah.
So the Chiefs' schedule remaining, they have Steelers this Sunday, which in Kansas City, I still think they can win that game. I think they can win that game. I wouldn't be surprised. Kelsey can't go and Hill can't come out of COVID protocol. I think they still have enough. Yeah. And then they got the Bengals on the road in Cincinnati. It depends on which Bengal team show up.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
And then they close out the year in Denver. So now this is the thing about the AFC. I will say this. I think the AFC, whoever gets to 12 first, whoever gets to 12 first, if they can get to 12-5, I think and it's tough going through Kansas City to beat Kansas City in Kansas City. Yeah. Playoffs. That'd be tough. I mean, can I see the Colts doing it? Potentially. I think they have the defense, and once again, they had the running game. All depends on Carson. Depends on which Carson shows up. So, but man.
That's a weird one. The Colts are a weird one. Because, I mean, if you rely on Jonathan Taylor, but I don't know what it is. Carson's just.
Well, and this is the thing. I thought about this Saturday. And I really wasn't shocked. I actually won money on that game because I thought the Colts were going to win that game, right? Against the Pats. Because who was it? Why did we win the Super Bowl? Who put the offensive game plan together?
Right. Frank Reich.
See what I'm saying? So Frank Wright must have seen something in the way they were playing defense to say, listen, we can run the ball on these dudes.
Yeah.
And it's taken responsibility off of Carson's plate to where he doesn't have to do everything.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So Rob Brinkman hosted a Sports House on Monday night, asked if the Niners are live for the NFC West title. They are currently 2 games back. So the best they can finish, Rob, is 11-6. I mean, even if they do that and they say they win that season ender against the Rams, right? But say the Rams win the next 2 weeks, then that's only 5 losses for the Rams at 12-5. They have a very, very, very long shot.
Garoppolo just threw a pick in the end zone. Oh, that was ugly.
Oh, Garoppolo?
Yeah. Janoris Jenkins. Jack Rabbit.
Jinx. So I mean, yeah, they have a super, super long shot, but they would kind of need Arizona and also the Rams to drop 2 of the next 3. Mm-hmm. Brinkman's hot take of the night: New England goes 1-2 down the stretch and missed the playoffs. Ooh,
wow. Ooh. I like it though. Hold on, let me look
because it's so close. Because once you get out of the Chiefs being at 10-4, everybody else is 1 game behind. Like you have so much jostling from week to week.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? To the point where, what was it? I think they said Cleveland could have took over the lead for the NFC North if Cincinnati had lost. Like every week, the AFC North leader changes.
Mm-hmm.
It changes every fucking week.
So their last 3 games are obviously this Sunday against Buffalo, January 2nd against the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think we know where that's going to go. And then the last game of the year against the Miami Dolphins. Now, the Miami Dolphins are red hot right now.
Where's it at?
It's at Miami.
Oh.
So.
Ooh.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a weird one.
Don asks us, do we like the Bengals? I like the Bengals.
But
they should have drafted Penny Sewell.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Because they can't protect Burrow the way that they need to. And you can clearly see Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins was enough. Don't get me wrong, Jamar Chase is a bad man. But if they had Penny Sewell with better protection, they probably had 2 more wins this year.
Oh, for sure.
And Joe Mix is probably, instead of being second for the rushing title, he's probably first. That's just my opinion.
Brinkman also says Miami hasn't lost in 2 months, and they ain't losing to Ian Book. Yeah, that's who the Saints are starting. Rookie quarterback Ian Book.
That's a game. I don't give a shit what the fucking under is. I go against what I said earlier.
That is trap game written all over it.
You take the under in that game.
Yeah, absolutely.
You take the under in that game. Whatever the under is, that's what you take. You put your mortgage payment on that.
The over-under is 36.5. Actually, no. I'm sorry. Hold on. Oh, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is 36.5. Yep.
36.5.
36.5. I don't know. 36.5. Ooh. This is basically a pick 'em too. Actually, no, it's not. Never mind. Read that backwards.
Well, I can't say New Orleans doesn't know how to play in that weather. I mean, they're kind of down there. It's still, it's not Miami type weather, but I mean, it is kind of humid out there. But I mean, also they play inside. They play in the dome. But fuck, they were just there in South Florida. They were just there in Florida Sunday.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? They were just in Florida Sunday, so I don't think they'll be hurt by it too much. No. But like you said, you got to put up some points. I mean, listen, I'm screaming. Saints they're drafting wide receiver in the first round. I don't know who it is. Chris Olave, Garrett Wilson, Jameson Williams, Jahad Dotson, somebody. They need somebody.
But what do you do with Michael Thomas then? Because you already have Michael Thomas on a huge deal. So that's the question. I don't know what
Brinkman is telling us that game is in. Oh, it is? It's on the road. I'm sorry. So they are home.
Yeah, they are home. Yep.
Ew. I still like the under.
I do too.
I mean,
I just don't. I don't know with Ian Book. I mean, they're going to be relying on Alvin Kamara. That's obvious.
But I mean, the Dolphins' defense isn't bad. But I will say this: the Dolphins' defense, their strength is their secondary. Their strength is their back seven.
Byron Jones and Xavier Howard.
So if they're not being tested because they just don't have a quarterback that they can do it with, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
At that point, then what I'm relying on at that point is Tua to beat the Saints defense.
Yeah.
So how do you feel like if you need Tua to beat the Saints defense? Because we need the Saints to lose. We need the Saints to drop one more game. That'll make our life easier trying to get into the 7th seed.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Let me see here. I just want to check something real quick. So 4, 6, 8, 12, 13. So 13 and so Tua's gone since October 24th. He has 14 touchdowns and 14 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. So I mean, he's been playing better compared to what he's been playing at the beginning of the year. And I think Waddle's a huge factor in that. But Tua's been playing very
getting
well.
some love too. Parker's been getting the ball some too.
Yeah, he has. I love Devontae Parker too. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It's a weird game. It's a really weird game because I don't know what. Obviously, Tua, like I said, he's been playing well. I mean, he threw 2 picks against the Jets, which again, not a great performance, but he's been playing better compared to what he played at the beginning of the year. And obviously, I have no clue what the Saints have in Ian Book, and I don't think they do either, aside from Sean Payton. But
why does that name? He was drafted this year, right?
Yeah, he's a rookie this year. Let me see. Ian Book.
I think he go like to. I want to say was he in the SEC team?
Let me see. What college did he go to? Ian Book. Oh, he's a Notre Dame kid.
Oh,
Ian Book, Notre Dame. Nope. I'm good.
So they've already ruled out Taysom Hill and Trevor Siemian.
Yes.
Well, like that. Like
I think because of COVID. I think that's what it is.
I know that, but they must be symptomatic then.
I guess. Oh yeah.
Because that game isn't until Monday night. So you tell me Thursday afternoon you already ruled them out for 72 hours later.
Yep.
That's crazy. But I mean, Sean Payton, he can be a mad scientist, so maybe he'll come up with some shit. So real quick before we get out of here, we got a little less than 10 minutes. No huddle. Talk about whatever you want, but I got to talk about what I was doing this time last week. And I think I was seeing one of the greatest films of all films of all time that had a good storyline on its own, established and furthered the storyline for future films, and also gave me nostalgia by closing all these circles, and now there's only one Spider-Man. So, talking about Spider-Man No Way Home, I'm not sure if everybody here wants to see it, has seen it already. I hope you would have had.
So good.
Maybe some people even have seen it more than once. But, dude, just 10 minutes into the movie, 15 minutes into the movie, when Matt Murdock, I won't say his actual superhero name. You could do the research on your own.
Right.
When Matt Murdock is sitting at the table, I'm like, they're giving you this, and this fucking movie ain't been on for like 20 minutes. I'm like, holy shit, this is about to be epic, right?
Yeah.
So, and then seeing everything come together, it was just great, man. That's really all. It's 9 out of 10. It's in my top 3 of Marvel movies of all time. It's probably number 2. It's probably number 2 behind Infinity War. Infinity War is my favorite. Listen, I will say this right now. It's probably gonna make some people upset.
Okay.
My favorite Marvel character is not a hero. I will tell you that right now. It's fucking Thanos. Like, bitch, paint me purple and give me a gauntlet. Snap my fucking figures all day. All day. So for me, the movie as a whole, it just hit on so many levels. Tobey Maguire being in it, Andrew Garfield being in it, then their experiences relating to Tom Holland's experiences and what he was dealing with. With there is a death in the film. I'm trying not to give it away as much as I can without the super spoiling for somebody.
Right.
There was a death in the film that affected Peter. He almost went to that dark place. He almost went from Bray Wyatt to the Fiend place. You feel what I'm saying? So, but they reeled him back in, and then it wasn't like it was just here they were, and they were in the movie for a minute.
Yep.
Like the last hour, I want to say it was all three of them. So it just even us, how they was tripped out doing it. I'm watching like it's fucking three of these bitches. It's three of them. Like,
yeah.
And they all talking and you feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, especially like at least for me anyway. Like I grew up on Tobey Maguire. That's what I grew up on.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in high school when Andrew Garfield came out, so I was kind of iffy on him. Tobey Maguire is my Spider-Man. That's just my opinion. Don't get me wrong, Tom Holland's fantastic, but it's just like it felt so good. And I know for at least my generation who watched the old Spider-Man movies with Tobey Maguire and Thomas Hayden Church and what's his name? Green Goblin. Oh my God, why am I forgetting his name?
Willem Dafoe?
Willem Dafoe, yeah. Willem Dafoe. It's so great how they wrapped everything together. They brought Doc Ock back. It's just like for people that love nostalgia, it's everything that you wanted in a movie and then more.
And you kind of, and look, I know you see Matrix already. I haven't seen it yet. I actually want to rewatch the first three to go before I go see this one.
You should do that, yeah, because they connect everything. So yeah, absolutely.
Okay, but the nostalgia. Sometimes we get the movie like this, and it's just nothing but nostalgia. They don't advance it.
Yeah, but
it was nostalgia at one point. It was the current story at this point, and then you kind of know what's coming next after. And it kind of reset the feel for everything. And if you just saw Hawkeye as well, you know, Linda probably is Mockingbird. Some point we may see her. So it's just that whole bird's eye view of a person sitting on everything to make sure everything is linear, everything matches up. And that's Kevin Feige. But just this fucking movie was, this is my thing. This is why I have a problem. I don't know why directors and screenwriters need to go as far as they did at the end to where make everybody fucking forget.
Right.
I don't need that.
Yeah.
Let the fucking superhero be happy.
Yep.
You feel what I'm saying? Listen, it goes back to Sons of Anarchy, Jax Teller. He didn't need to die at the end. Good fuck what he did. He's 17. He didn't need to die. Walter White didn't need to die.
Yeah.
Man beat cancer. Now you gonna tell me he goes out because he's selling meth? Fuck that. I don't need that. I didn't need Jon Snow. Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
I didn't need Jon Snow to sit there and then pay. Like everybody knew he had to do what he had to do. You feel what I'm saying? So we'll get to post credits real quick. I like how they did it with Venom. How they
I love how they did it.
The Carnage. I haven't seen the movie. I've seen the post credits. How they did that, flashed him into this movie, flashed him out at the post-credit scenes, but leaves a piece of the symbiote.
Yep, I love
perfect. Because now you have somebody else that's going to be coming. Probably you'll see the next Spider-Man because I think they signed to do 3 more standalone Spider-Man films, if I'm not mistaken. So whoever Eddie Brock is probably going to be in this universe,
right? So
you'll probably get what that's to be, how that's going to work out, and then Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness.
That's going to be, that's going to, you saw the trailer I sent in the chat, right? You saw that? Okay.
Yeah. It was a little different from the one that if you go see it, if you go see the movie now, there's 2 post-credit scenes. There's one with the Venom and Tom Hardy and the Carnage and the Venom. And then you stay all the way at the end and you get the full trailer. It's a little different than the one they were just released, but you get a trailer of Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. You see Scarlet Witch. I'm definitely ruining it now. This motherfucker went from wrecking shop and creating her whole town to pruning trees now. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
She turned into a botanist.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't. She turned into a botanist, but her. Then you see, was it what they call him, Strange Supreme or something like that?
Sorcerer Supreme. Yep.
So you don't know who. You still don't know who the villain is. It could be Moto. It could be. It could be so many different things. Yeah. But just knowing now, Spider-Man is now Tony Stark. I mean, like he is now Tony Stark because he is at the center of the MCU right
Yep.
now. He is the most important character. He is the connecting glue to everyone else. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, and listen, Hawkeye, I watched it. If you already watched the finale, right?
Yeah, it was okay.
But I'm saying, the Easter eggs in it to where my bad, Mr. Wingman. No, so we're not talking about the Matrix. We're not talking about the Matrix. So hopefully
we're
you've
not
seen
talking about
we're talking about Spider-Man. But if you watch Hawkeye and you see the end, and you'll see the same Christmas tree in Hawkeye in a different fashion. So this is what I'm talking about. Spider-Man No Way Home probably takes place a week or a couple of days before the season finale of Hawkeye.
Yep.
And what happens there. And if you've already watched Hawkeye, they've introduced Kingpin now from Netflix series into the MCU. Can't fucking wait till they have his own movie.
You want to talk about one of my favorite MCU villains? Kingpin's one of my favorites.
Oh, dude, it's this. And I love him as an actor, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I wish what's his name was still. I wish Michael Clark Duncan was still alive because I think he did that very well too.
He did
playing Kingpin, but I'm perfectly fine with who they got.
But he said he haven't seen Spider-Man yet either. Damn it, Mr. Wing. Shit, what are you doing, bro? We'll get Jake, aka Doctor Strange, to cast a spell to where you forget these last 10 minutes.
Open the multiverses up.
I will tell you this: what we talked about is somewhat spoilers, but listen, man, it's not even scratching the surface of what can happen. You know what I mean? Yeah, Don brings up wait until we've already seen Across the Spider-Verse. I've seen that trailer. That looks great.
I can't wait.
Dude, it's just this is what, like I said, this is probably gonna piss. Well, I won't piss people off. My top 3 movies so far this year. I haven't seen Eternals yet, but I know it's not going to be in these top 3. No Way Home, Suicide Squad number 2, Shang-Chi number 3. That's for me.
Okay.
That's for me. It's like, I don't think Suicide Squad, if it wasn't for No Way Home, it may be number 1. It was funny. It told a story. Mm-hmm. It was great. It
was serious when it needed to be. It wasn't like going over the top and being like overly dramatic, and you're not like, okay, come on. Now I'm depressed. But no, it was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. It was everything I wanted.
And like I said, I haven't seen Eternals. I've been told to watch it.
Either. I've heard it's good. I've heard it isn't like fantastic, but
it's not fantastic. But I mean, it's hard to the type of storytelling and the type of heroes that they are. Mm-hmm. If I think that would have hit better if Doctor Strange wasn't already out, like it's more along the lines of Doctor Strange, where it was just this reverent power that's ancient, and that it gets, it's just a little bit different. Especially, they tell you they let the blip happen, like they were sitting there watching Thanos fucking snap his fingers. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? The Sixers are playing tonight. We just got Green Goblin say Tobias is so bad.
Let's see what the score is real quick before we get out of here. Quick score update before we get out of here. Let's see. It is 84-83 with 7 minutes left. Now 85-84 Sixers. So got a close one, but we'll see.
I mean, it is. This 500 basketball. I don't know. I
don't know how you feel, Pete, and I'll say this, and you can have your point and we'll get out of here, but I don't know. Like, I'm not compelled to watch the Sixers as much.
Me either.
Like, I mean, it's Joel Embiid and everybody else. Like, but like, as long as Ben Simmons is here and as long as that situation, I really don't care. I know Tom and Ryan and some of the guys care more about basketball, but I just this year it's just
and it's the whole league. I mean, you got Golden State started out hot and they kind of fell off a little bit. Mm-hmm. Phoenix is still hot. Holler at me when Phoenix is in the championship and they have a chance to close it out in the finals. Yeah. It is what it is, because the Sixers season coming into it was filled with so much black cloud, just with the whole Ben Simmons situation. You feel what I'm saying? So it's just like, and then you look at the record and it's just, you already know the regular season don't mean shit. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Don. Yeah, to your point, like, and I said this, I think, a couple of weeks ago. I just don't think the product is as good as it used to be. That's just my opinion. I just don't think the game's as fun to watch anymore. And I don't know.
Yeah.
It doesn't really entice me as much as it used to, like compared to when I was growing up. These past, I want to say, like 2 to 3 years or so. Don't get me wrong, I love watching the Sixers, but like the NBA as a whole, I just I don't care as much. I really don't.
Ted Effects coming in. What's up, Ted, on the Twitch?
What's up, Ted?
Jalen Hurts is an alternate Pro Bowl quarterback. I mean, now this is one I have a problem with this. Why the fuck did you need to tell us that you was a Pro Bowl alternate? He said it.
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, this kid got an ego, but you gotta have an ego to be one of the 32 quarterbacks at that job.
Mm-hmm.
Just fucking win on Sunday, bitch.
Yeah, that's all I care about.
Just fucking win on Sunday. Mr. Wing says we need to do a Marvel DC podcast. Yes, we do. Real quick before we get out of here, I just want to say once again, this show is dedicated in honor of Carol Beth Chromiak, Chrome's mother. We lost her 2 days ago, I believe, and today is actually her birthday. So,
yes,
once again, if you believe in that type of thing, you say prayers, which I hope you do. You got to believe in something. This world is fucking crazy. Just give a nod to the Chromiak family as they deal with this tough time. I mean, anytime a loss during the holidays is fucking tough.
Yeah.
But I will say this, man. I don't know what I would do with myself if I lost my mom. I'm just gonna be honest.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be honest.
Yeah, and Chrome told us a while ago with his leave of absence, and I'm not going to get his personal business out there because that's not my job.
Yeah.
But again, we're praying for Chrome.
Yeah.
We hope to have him back soon. Obviously, the holidays are going to be a little tough this year. And again, we all love Chrome. We know you guys love him too. So say a prayer for him. Too. Yeah, he knows it. Yeah. So say a prayer for him and his family while they're going through this tough time.
Yep. All right, man. Jake, thank you for rocking with us. Fam,
Absolutely.
Thank you out there for being with us all show. Have a good Merry Christmas, a great Merry Christmas, a happy holiday. Don't forget what the reason for the season is. It's not about this materialistic shit. Hug your loved ones, man. Definitely for real. Do yourself a favor. Go watch The Witcher on Netflix if you get a chance. And we are less than 10 days away from Cobra Kai season 4, December 31st. And I'm gonna go watch The Matrix. I'm gonna do all that other shit. I'm such a nerd. It's just ridiculous. I'm all over the place. I'm all over the place. But
yeah, Matrix is very good.
Man. I appreciate it.
Yep, as always.
Jake, myself, Birds of a Feather, Fan Friday. Are you doing a show tomorrow?
No, I'm not going to be back. So I'm not doing a Fan Friday show till after the New Year. So it'll be January 7th. Yeah, because next week's obviously New Year's Eve, and I'm going away for New Year's Eve. So,
the life of a young lion.
Exactly.
So
always doing something.
All right, man. For our family to yours, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Everybody be safe.
Love you guys.